not to say that he's going to make every single three he takes, but I do think a lot of it has to do with his balance. And I think one of the more difficult threes to take a lot of times is really off the dribble where you don't have great balance. Now, there's been some times where he's been able to balance himself and go up. I think he was 2 for 7 last game. You know, some of those threes I think are good. I also think what it does too is when not that he needs to take a high volume of threes, but when he does take threes, most teams are trying to keep him out of the paint. And if he makes a couple threes, I do think it opens up other things. But the threes that he's got to take are the ones where he's got good balance. When he's got good balance, I feel good with him shooting the ball.
What communication, if any of you, have with Mitch McGary in the past few weeks?
Just really through text messaging, you know, just reaching out to him, asking for him, asking if he needs anything from me, just trying to communicate with him through text. You know, I've left him a couple messages, not to necessarily have him call me back, but just more to reach out and see how he's doing. And, you know, he's been good about responding and, you know, texting back and, you know, saying thank you. And, you know, certainly with what he's going through, you always want to make sure he's doing okay and he's got the necessary support around him to help him get through whatever he's dealing with.
Any timetable for him to return?
No, not, well, I mean, I don't know in terms of, you know, when he'd be back to the team. That'd be something that Mitch and I would probably have to sit down and talk about, just to see where he's at all the way around. Certainly he's missed practice time, game time, conditioning, those kind of things. You know, where does he feel like he's at mentally, those kind of things. So, you know, we'll get a chance at some point to probably sit down and talk when it's right.
With Cameron coming back tonight, how soon do you want to get him in, and is there a minute restriction?
No minute restriction on him, and you know, I think a lot of us going to see how the game's going. Cameron was out for, you know, a limited amount of time. It wasn't like this soreness that he had in his hip was something that he's been dealing with for a long period of time. I think we were just probably being very, very cautious. The fact that it's the playoffs, the end of the season right now, not have something linger through this series.
But now it's as a team.
Confidence in Cameron. But a lot of it's going to see how the game's going, who's playing well, maybe who's in foul trouble, matchups, those kind of things. I'm not reluctant to play Cameron with him having this, you know, this injury, so to speak. It's kept him out a little bit. I feel pretty good about him and where he's at. And I do think Cameron can help us.
How does the game change?